starting lineup for the UTEP Miners. They are led by a senior transfer point guard playing in his second year with UTEP, Jacques Streeter. He gets things going. He is a feisty point guard. And their head coach is Arizona Wildcats, 1-0 on the season. No record yet in the Pac-12. We talked about Mark Lyons. How about the play of the freshman center, Caleb Tarczewski? High expectations. Look out! Arizona in white, UTEP in orange. The tip controlled by Solomon Hill.
And Bohannon actually got the tip, but Solomon Hill, great senior anticipation.
One of those freshmen right now with the ball, 7-footer. Hill puts it on the floor all the way to the hoop, attacks it, gets it blocked by Bohannon. There's Tarczewski with the putback.
Well, I like the aggressiveness of Solomon Hill right off the bat. But that's what size does for you. Tarczewski just hanging around the basket for the cleanup.
Jacques Streeter, this point guard, transfer from Cal State Fullerton. Picked up by Mark Lyons.
UTEP going to be real deliberate with their offense. You can see they're just spreading things out. About 10 seconds, they'll look to get aggressive and try and find a way to score the bucket.
Bohannon on the block, guarded by the freshman Jarrett. 5 on the shot clock, doubles. Tries to get rid of it, loose ball, and a turnover. Coming the other way, Hill able to deflect it to Johnson. A 3 for Hill. And a good rebound pulled down by Cedric Lang.
And Tim Floyd told us, Justin, that he's got to shorten the game. He doesn't have the kind of scoring that you need to try and run up and down the court with Arizona. Just doesn't have that kind of productivity offensively. So here they are, milk the clock a little bit, milk the shot clock, be real patient with their offense.
Jalen Ragland picked up by Johnson. Shot clock at 10. Julian Washburn, shot clock at 5, lose the handle, shot clock at 3. Bohannon has to put it up, he does. Draws iron, the rebound to Nick Johnson. Back the other way, nearly a turnover.
But that becomes the conundrum if you're UTEP. You wait till the shot clock gets down below 10 seconds. You don't have a lot of players who can create their own shot. So it puts a lot of pressure on your offense.
Solomon Hill, the kickback. Jarrett for 3. He can hit those.
His high school coach, Eric Cooper, who played at Arizona, walked by our broadcast table just moments ago. But he told me yesterday, this young man is just a highly skilled player. He's got the whole package. 6'10", can step out and knock down the long-range jump shot.
He is very comfortable beyond the three-point line.
Probably more comfortable on the perimeter than he is in the epicenter.
Ragland, the answer 3. Jalen Ragland had 10 points in the opener against Oral Roberts. Those were a career-high 10 points. Jarrett again for 3.
What, you don't believe me? You better recognize, I got this in my game. Get that look like, coach, you're just going to let me shoot all night? Don't make an adjustment, trust me.
6 early points for Grant Jarrett. 8-3, Arizona leading. Jarrett, good job hedging out. Streeter has it stripped going up. Lyons picks up the loose ball. Lyons the other way with a finish.
Some of that hoop attack mode that we talked about in the open. And that's Mark Lyons in the open court, kind of a broken field situation, found a way to get it to the basket. But a real powerfully built 6'1" player, about 200 pounds.
Washburn for 3. Second 3 of the game for the Miners. It's 10-6.
We talked about the comparison to DeMar DeRozan, Tim Floyd made, but he's a much better shooter than DeMar was at a similar stage.
It's a 3-point shootout so far.
This is reminiscent of the 80s. It's up and down basketball. Very little, I won't say little defense, but both teams are kind of feeling each other out. Tim Floyd going to throw a lot of things at Arizona in the first 5 minutes and kind of trying to see what's effective.
Washburn the crossover for pull-up. Nice move by Julian Washburn.
I mean, that's a tough shot. That's a contested jump shot. Solomon Hill, solid defense, but just a great individual play by Julian Washburn.
13-8, Arizona leads. Lyons has it stripped going up. Here come the Miners. Streeter finds Washburn. Another pull-up, short, rebound Jarrett, and then Jarrett got fouled by John Bohannon. The first foul of this game goes to John Bohannon.
So they should take pressure off each other in terms of playmaking and ball handling chores. Anytime old school chores.
Substitution for Arizona. Kevin Parham is now in. Parham in as well as Brandon Ashley. Jarrett has 2 threes, now puts it on the deck with the left hand, can't finish. There's Ashley with 1 tip, 2 tip, no good, and Washburn with a rebound.
Brandon Ashley, 12 points, 8 rebounds against Charleston Southern. In the Wildcats' first game, played at Finley Prep in Vegas, but he is from Oakland. He's an Oakland soldier. I'm a soldier. This is AAU team. I love them soldiers.
Streeter looking for the pick from Lang. And a blocking foul will be called against Brandon Ashley. That is his first, the team's first.
Now, not a bad hedge by Brandon Ashley, but as he comes out of the game, you get a lot of blood in his mouth on that last scrum under their basket going for the offensive rebound. But a good, smart point guard like Jackie Streeter will attack the body of the big as he steps out near midcourt to hedge that ball screen.
So Ashley actually stays in the game. Angelo Chol comes in, as does number 20, Jordan Mays for Arizona. When you look at this Arizona team, this is the deepest team that Sean Miller has had here for the Wildcats.
When you can bring a Chol, Mays, and Parham off the bench, you know you've got some quality basketball players on your roster. There's some 3 guys that will be starting for a lot of programs, including this one before the arrival of the 3 bigs.
Jalen Ragland, pull-up jumper contested, and contested too much. A foul by Kevin Parham. That is his first, the team's second. A 2-shot foul. As Parham will send Jalen Ragland to the free throw line.
Talk about an incredible story. Kevin Parham suffered a gunshot wound last September in his leg. Now he's never going to be 100%, but Sean Miller told us yesterday that he is as healthy as he will be, and just brings a lot of heart and grit. Some shooting, some passing, tough defense. Just a tremendous role player, Kevin Parham, out of the Bronx in New York City.
He's that glue guy for this team. 1 for 2 at the free throw line for Jalen Ragland. Into the corner, there's Parham. Now back up top for Solomon Hill. 4-point lead Arizona early on here in the first half.
UTEP staying with their basic man-to-man defense, going to get an offensive foul on Angelo Chol on the screen, but Tim Floyd told us he may try and mix it up a little here the first 5 minutes of triangle and 2, some box and 1. But so far pretty much standard man-to-man.
That's the 3rd team foul against Arizona, the first against Chol. Bohannon looking down low for Lang. Double team, forces one up. And Jordan Mays looks to push the other way.
Good defense, Brandon Ashley. Principle of verticality. Get those hands above the head. You allow that position.
Ashley likes to put the ball on the floor. Difficult shot, back of the rim. Chol the offensive rebound. Mays, the floater, is no good. There's Hill. Chol the jumper. Too strong. And a couple of substitutions. Chris Washburn checks in for the first time for UTEP. Gabe York comes in for the first time for Arizona as Grant Jarrett returns.
Now, speaking with Chris's older brother by a year, Julian, we were talking about Julian and who he patterned himself after. He said no one in particular. I said, what about your younger brother, Chris? Like Zebo. Zach Randolph. So we're going to see some inside post presence from young Chris Washburn.
Here's Julian Washburn. Nice up and under, off the glass, too strong. Bohannon, the good rebound. Trying to clear some space. And now it looks like he'll be called for an over-the-back foul.
I mean, I like that aggressiveness by Bohannon. Bohannon going after the offensive rebound, but give Grant Jarrett a lot of credit. Just established a defensive wall, hands up, bodied up down low against Bohannon, and forced Bohannon into the offensive foul.
And you look at Jarrett, he is long. Oh my gosh.
Both he and Ashley, just looking at those two on the floor, their arms, I mean, they're scratching knees without bending over.
You almost wonder with the length of this front court now for Arizona later in the year. We don't see them do some 2-3 zone. Could be like a Syracuse zone.
And, well, the big guys have had some issues defending on the perimeter. We're talking about Kevin Parham and what he brings. There's some of that glue, just whatever you need.
His first 3 points of the ball game, and it's a 16-9 Arizona lead.
You say glue, but I'm a product of the 80s NBA, so I say stick 'em. He's a stick 'em guy. The goop.
Washburn, fadeaway jumper's too strong. Rebound by his brother, Chris Washburn. He can't finish. And there's Jarrett with a rebound. Here comes Mays. Pulls up in a lane, can't finish. Streeter with a rebound. Jacques Streeter against George, tries to put it over the tall Jarrett. And we're going to have a foul. And that's going to be against Jacques Streeter. The UTEP Miners have missed.
Trey Burke in Michigan. Some people are talking Michigan Final Four because of the return of Trey Burke as their leader.
I tell you also a team to watch out for there, North Carolina State.
Yeah. C.J. Leslie, Mark Godfrey's he's got some talent.
C.J. Cooper's into the game for the first time for UTEP number 5. Bohannon picked up by Tarczewski. Washburn on the block with the left hand. There you go.
It's some Zebo down there against another freshman, Grant Jarrett. But a nice little deep move baseline to freeze Jarrett. And then get middle.
A deep 3 for Lyons. Off the back of the rim. Rebound pulled down by Cooper. Cooper waits for the screen.
Tim Floyd seems a little more comfortable that he can produce some points. He's letting his guys kind of go in their normal flow offensively, not milking the shot clock like he did the first couple of possessions.
Lyons again for 3. This time he hits. 8 points for Mark Lyons, the transfer from Xavier.
Shows the versatility, can take it to the basket with the best of them. Just a nice job getting the feet set. Terrific rotation on that jump shot. He's shooting it when he's open. He's not bashful.
Bohannon goes right out. Tarczewski, good defense by the 7-foot freshman. Lyons into the corner. Parham. Nice extra pass for Johnson. Batted out by Jarrett. Loose ball on the floor. It's picked up by Cooper. A block by Jarrett. Beat it up, young fella. Tarczewski running the floor. Johnson loses it on the way up. Ragland for 3. Front rims it. Tarczewski with a rebound, and now Lyons will slow things down. 8-point lead for Arizona, under 10 to go here in the first half.
Now, that's not the offensive pacing that Tim Floyd wanted. I mean, he's loosened the reins a bit, but you cannot just come down and jack up the first open shot without any kind of offensive rebound presence whatsoever.
Tarczewski gets doubled, splits the double team, and he gets Johnson, who's going to win that UCLA-USC football game.
Hey, Bruins, Brett Hundley from here from Arizona, our freshman quarterback, red shirt. Jonathan Franklin, the all-time leading rusher in UCLA history. Now we got to go to Marquise Lee and
those other guys.
Some of those other guys. But I like the fact that we threw the gauntlet down. We don't want Tommy Trojan stabbing our UCLA insignia in the middle of the field. If he does it during the pregame, we're gonna forbid their band to perform at halftime.
The rivalry lives on. Yes. It never leaves you. 3 points for Tarczewski. Skip pass. Cooper open for 3.
He can shoot it. He can shoot it. C.J. Cooper, high school teammate of Grant Jarrett at LaVerne Lutheran in Southern California, coached by Eric Cooper, former Arizona Wildcat. And all they did was work on shooting from, he said, all his life, basically, because Eric is his uncle.
Solomon Hill, ball top of the key. Johnson trying to go baseline. Ashley, little jump hook. But it looks like this one will be waved off. And
I thought maybe Ashley had elevated before the feet were set, but too close to call.
That is the second foul against Ashley. 6th turnover for Arizona. Lang against Tarczewski, tries to step through, kicks it out. Julian Washburn lost it, knocked out of bounds. Whose ball will be Arizona.
And that's great perimeter defense. Cross-court passes back and forth, 27 straight seconds. So this is why Arizona, the last couple of years, Justin, have held opponents below 30% from the three-point line. Just an outstanding job. One of the top 5 teams in the country in that category.
A backdoor cut, getting fouled.
Guard ahead of him, and then Samaji Kristen was going to be the point guard for Xavier this year. So he decided to come to the desert and manage a basketball team. He's got a pretty good one.
And it's exactly what Sean Miller wanted for this year.
Yeah, after all the trouble with Josiah Turner last year, they thought he would be their point guard for the future. Did not work out that way, but
it is off of Chris Washburn, so it will stay Arizona basketball.
And Sean Miller, he first saw Mark Lyons as a 10th grader. I talked to Emmanuel Book Richardson, the assistant coach for the Wildcats. He said he dropped about 45 points on Kemba Walker in an AAU league at 15 years old. That's when he knew Mark Lyons was a special player.
How about Kemba Walker with a game winner last night?
And talk about special players.
Johnson gets fouled. He'll go to the free throw line for 2 shots. That foul is against
last season as a freshman. But just get to the foul line, use your body. His uncle Dennis Johnson, the Hall of Famer, former Boston Celtic great, was tremendous at that, just using his body to get to the foul line.
Johnson makes the first. That was the first foul against Cooper, the team's 6th. So next foul against UTEP will put Arizona in the 1-on-1.
And his dad, Joey Johnson, was no slouch either. He had about a 50-inch vert. I saw him in high school, Justin, jump over a player at the sports arena in the city championship playing for Banning High School. Team with Eric Cooper, dunk over a player for a dunk shot.
When your nickname is Jumpin',
yeah,
you can definitely jump. Skip pass, lines in the corner. He gets called for steps. I'll tell you what.
He's built low to the ground, but it's 200 pounds, real strong and solid. Tremendous quickness and really underrated athleticism. And a fiery competitor. They've had some spirited practices, especially when he and Solomon Hill, the other senior leader, are on opposite sides.
Julian Washburn picked up by Hill. Cooper against Johnson. Shot clock at 10. Shot clock at 4. Streeter, the pull-up jumper. Off the backboard for 2.
Once again, UTEP running the shot clock down, but you see the benefit of a strong, aggressive hedge by Grant Jarrett. Really threw UTEP out of rhythm.
Johnson for 3 off the skip pass.
And that's the other thing that impresses you about Arizona. Against Charleston Southern the other night, they had 27 field goals. 25 of those 27 field goals, 25 assisted.
And right now they're 6 for 10 from three-point land. Cooper puts it on the floor, kick out. And that's going to be a traveling violation against Chris Washburn.
That Sean Miller's preaching unselfishness, making the extra pass, moving the basketball. You're not scoring, you're trying to help a teammate score, as his former head coach Rick Pitino used to say. Probably still does.
Hill kept the pivot foot down. Nice spin move, hangs in the air, not there, but there's Chol for the dunk.
Again, the luxury of having that type of athleticism. Angelo Chol, the sophomore from Hoover High School in San Diego, by way of the Sudan, Khartoum.
Julian Washburn for 3. And a foul is going to be called against Grant Jarrett. That last foul was the first against Jarrett, the team's 5th. A mini line change here for UTEP as Washburn loses the ball out of bounds. It will be Arizona basketball. Ragland has come back in, but Hannon has come back in. And also checking in for the first time is Malcolm Moore. That was the 7th turnover for the Miners here in the first half.
Miners now, they're going to change it up. They're going to trap that first pass on the wing. Work well for them against Oral Roberts, but not so here in this possession.
7 for 11 are the Wildcats from 3. The first 3 points of the game for Solomon Hill.
And Arizona practiced extensively against all these kinds of wrinkles that they expected from Tim Floyd and his UTEP Miners. Boxing ones, triangle and twos, trapping that first pass. So deliberately drawing fouls by overacting. But Jackie Streeter got away with it that time.
He is from L.A. There's a lot of actors in L.A., so.
Yeah, I saw him light up Crenshaw High School. Troy Gillenwater, the outstanding player from New Mexico State, was his high school teammate. Played for the great Sam Sullivan at Fremont High School.
Bohannon trying to go baseline, cut off by Ashley. Moore against Tarczewski. And finally, it's Solomon Hill ripping down the rebound. Quickly ahead to Gabe York. Another athletic freshman for the Wildcats.
Tremendous shooting ability and range.
Misses his first shot. Ashley, the offensive rebound, the putback, and he gets fouled.
My boy Lorenzo Romar, they took it on the chin to Albany at home. The guard shot him out down the stretch.
Brandon Ashley at the free throw line missed the first. Ashley was 8 of 12 at the free throw line in the victory over Charleston Southern on Sunday. 1 of 2 here.
Said that Finley Prep, he left home for his senior season, left Oakland to go down to Las Vegas, play for Mike Peck and Finley Prep, and he thought it really prepared him for college basketball in terms of just getting adjusted to being away from home.
Well, that and they play more games than college teams do.
And great competition, full stands every night.
York moves on the behind the back dribble. Streeter will pull it back out. UTEP started 3 of 4 from the floor since 3 of 16.
And that's because of better defensive effort from Arizona. The bigs are hedging. Small guys really firing out, contesting every jump shot, so no open looks for UTEP.
Shot clock at 9. Streeter, nice little scoop shot under Tarczewski.
Jackie Streeter said that he transferred from Cal State Fullerton to UTEP to play specifically for Tim Floyd, to be challenged day in and day out in practice, and he's gotten that kind of challenge.
Barron, that ball was nearly stolen by Julian Washburn. Trying to force it inside to Tarczewski, a steal by Bohannon. Julian Washburn, a lot of dribbling. Able to get it over the outstretched arm of Ashley, and he puts in, he's got 7 first half points.
Washburn, Julian has had some decent looks. If he could just kind of settle down a bit and knock down that mid-range jump shot, he could pose some problems for the Wildcats.
A foul away from the ball against Caleb Tarczewski.
Talented player. A lot of teams like to go smaller, quicker. Will Arizona be able to keep up, or will they have to play a lot of zone, which Arizona worked on yesterday in practice?
11-point lead. The Miners trying to bring it to within 9. Bohannon, kick out. Chris Washburn spins baseline, able to keep it. The reverse is good.
Well, did he lull his defenders to sleep on that play on the baseline? Quick move middle, nice spin.
The Pac-12 this year is returning to what it once was, or getting back to that level.
And recruiting always being the key. When you can keep that top 50, top 75 ranked talent home, and I mean home West Coast in the Pac-12 conference, then obviously you're going to make yourself that more of a tougher basketball team.
Ashley on the baseline, gets it blocked by Bohannon. Julian Washburn saves it, but to Tarczewski. And Tarczewski draws the foul against Bohannon. Will be a blocking foul.
You got to be careful when you're at the other team's basket. You got to be absolutely sure. And if you're not, then you throw it down towards your end where you're not hurt.
And that was incredibly costly, because now Bohannon goes to the bench with 3 fouls. So he was in the game with under 2 to go here in the first half with 2 fouls. Picks up his 3rd. No points on the night. 0 for 3 from the floor. And over the back foul will be called against Solomon Hill.
And Bohannon is getting quiet offensively.
Chris Washburn at the free throw line, one-on-one. Rebound by Nick Johnson. 10-point lead for Arizona. Jarrett got off that great start, hitting a couple threes. Lions for another three. First field goal in almost 4 minutes. 11 points in the first half for Lions.
You better check up. I mean, that's a nice asset to have in your skill package if you're Mark Lyon and you attack the basket the way he does.
Chris Washburn gets double, jump ball.
Offense if you're UTEP right now. I mean, you got the Washburn brothers on the inside. I like Chris Washburn down on that box.
There is Chris Washburn. Spin move again. Trying to keep his pivot foot. Rebound by Jarrett.
That's tough. You're going against 7 feet. Caleb Tarzewski, 6'10". Grant Jarrett on the inside. So and they're staying down. They're not biting on the head fake, which he was effective doing when he first got in the game. Chris Washburn.
Nice steal there by Julian Washburn. Quick hands. And now UTEP can hold for the final shot. They can make it a 10-point game if they hit a three. 3 for 7 from three-point land here in the first half.
Jalen Ragland would be the guy to watch out for. Knocking down a three-point shot. Going to run a flare screen for him.
5 seconds. Washburn, the crossover.
Defense. That's good defense. That's good defense.
That was great defense by Solomon Hill.
Thwarted the flare screen initially for Ragland and then Hill.
It's across the street.
Nearby. Local.
I can call them and see if I have mail.
You can't beat the rent.
They text me or send me an email and I have a package. It's very convenient.
Never miss a delivery.
I like my office at the UPS store.
It's very homey.
Every communications provider is different, but CenturyLink is committed to being a different kind of communications company.
Do what you want when you want to. We all have time with a different kind of connection.
We link people in Fortune 500 companies nationwide and around the world, and we will continue to free you to do more and focus on what matters.
Yeah, link up and go now. Link up and go now.
This is a great deal on a new Civic. This Civic gets incredible mileage. I'm gonna buy this car. It has everything I want. Maybe I should wait. I mean, this car will still be here, right?
The 2012 Civic Clearance event is happening now. Get 0.9% APR for up to 60 months. Now at your Honda dealer.
Fox Sports Arizona Plus is your home for the AIA High School Football Championships. The title games are guaranteed to provide some memorable moments, and you can watch the Division 1, 2, and 3 championship games November 24th. Presented by Farmers Insurance.
Hey Suns fans, come out to Buffalo Wild Wings in Tempe Friday at 7 to watch our Suns as they take on the Lakers.
Join us as we cheer on the Suns. Plus, don't miss out on some great ticket giveaways and prizes. This Friday at 7.
The Packers take on the Lions this week on Fox NFL Sunday.
Pac-12 basketball is presented by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the game's most refreshing beer, and by MFS Investment Management, innovative solutions for investors and their professional advisors. What do you think? Get like a Miles Simon jersey in there, or Richard Jefferson maybe?
Yeah, that'd be a good start. Luke Walton maybe.
35-22, Arizona leading UTEP as we get set to start the second half. The first half leading scorers, Julian Washburn 7, Ragland and Streeter each with 4. Lions had 11. Jarrett with those 6 early points off those 2 3-pointers, and Nick Johnson with 5. It's Arizona ball to start. The original starting 5 back out there for Arizona. Lyons, Johnson, Jarrett, Tarzewski, and Solomon Hill. Lobbing it inside to Tarczewski. And Tarczewski steps on the baseline. Turnover.
That's a tough catch. I mean, a nice attempt on the delivery, on the lob, on the seal inside, but he caught that ball. Tarczewski on the baseline, and then Cedric Lang. Great job with the wall to kind of seal him and keep him on the baseline.
Bohannon playing with those 3 fouls that he picked up in the first half. Skip pass in the corner. Ragland for 3. Jarrett with a rebound, and that's a dangerous play by Bohannon. Nearly picked up his 4th in the first minute here in the second.
The struggles that UTEP has had scoring the basketball, they could ill afford to lose Bohannon this early in the second half.
Let's see who this foul is on. Line for 2. You said it before, out of Schenectady, New York. His nickname, Cheeks. And not because of Maurice Cheeks either.
That's what I thought. I heard him, especially Emmanuel Book Richardson, the assistant coach for Arizona, referring to him as Cheeks constantly in practice yesterday. But I guess he had the chubby cheeks. Wasn't doing a lot of mooning as you thought, but the chubby cheeks on his face is why they called him Cheeks.
15-point lead now for Arizona.
Bohannon has got to score some points.
Washburn, pretty move, gets fouled by Solomon Hill. He'll go to the...
Just enough quickness to get Solomon Hill off balance.
How about the zone of zoo he's shooting into? Maybe distracts him enough to make him miss.
McHale has consistently been one of the tougher venues in this conference to compete in for opposition.
It's like you're shooting into Where's Waldo. Johnson on the handoff. You can see him trying to double there. In the corner, Lyons for 3 again. And the rebound by Ragland.
But that terrifically quick ball reversal thwarts the double team, the trapping of the first pass that UTEP was attempting.
Bohannon against Garrett. And here's a steal. Mark Lyons the other way.
That doesn't happen by happenstance, and that's one thing that Arizona worked on a lot in practice defensively. Digging back that defensive guard. Good move by Tim Floyd. Put him down now so he doesn't pick up that 4th foul, and then you still have a guy in Chris Washburn who has a lot of offensive skills down in the low post. As was mentioned, 11 of his 14 points came in the second half against Oral Roberts.
And he had 8 of those points on dunks. Turnover, Julian Washburn the other way. The hesitation, blow by, hangs in the air, can't finish, but the putback is good by Cedric Lang.
That's what Lang is going to give you. He played last year 14 games with a stress fracture in his foot. So just a tough big inside.
Tarczewski draws the
contact and conduct in that area. You're going to get a blocking foul call on you every time.
The second foul against Chris Washburn, team's 3rd, as Tarczewski makes the free throw.
Watch this restricted area right there. Right here is a restricted area. Any kind of contact that results in a foul is going to be called against a defensive player. You cannot take a charge in that area.
6 points for Tarczewski, 14-point lead for Arizona.
The idea, the thought behind it, like the NBA, open up driving lanes to the basket.
Streeter. The contest at the rim, and a foul will be
through in high school. That one of the things about him that he needed to develop was being more aggressive on the floor at the defensive end. But he has shown that ability today. He's got a block shot tonight. Got a block shot, and right there did a nice job contesting, even though he picked up the foul.
The foul against Jarrett was his 2nd, the team's 2nd here in the second half. They start him young here in Arizona. Quickly, Solomon Hill to the way, lost the handle a little bit. Jarrett, top of the key 3. Back rims it, chased down by Chris Washburn. Streeter, skip pass, Julian Washburn.
Just Ragland for a wide open 3-point shot in the corner. As tough as open shots are to come by for UTEP, they can't afford to miss those kinds of opportunities.
Good pick and roll, but it's an offensive foul.
Nice, solid.
For UTEP with 3 fouls. 14 fouls for the Miners. And an offensive foul against Caleb Tarzewski, the illegal screen.
Flat screen, he just went up and just belted Washburn.
See, he's not used to it because he added about 30-35 pounds since he's come on campus.
That impact doesn't normally have that kind of effect on players. 35 pounds since high from 220 to like about 255.
Ragland gets fouled on a...
And where do you feel that if you're playing against this team? It's at the offensive end, your offensive end. Defensively, these guys do a nice job. Arizona covering the cup. They challenge shots. They're tough to rebound against, as evident by that 23-8 rebounding disparity. Tough to rebound against at both ends of the floor. But one thing Charleston Southern did against them, they pulled them out, spread them out on the floor, went small, and was able to get a lot of dribble drive, penetrate, and kick.
UTEP once again makes it a 10-point game. Lyons the jumper. And the rebound by Lang. Streeter, a little hesitation off the glass is good. 6 points for Jacques Streeter. It's an 8-point ball game and a timeout taken by Arizona.
There will be no quit.
This run for the Miners.
Well, I think the Miners, you look at the stat sheet first half, 8 for 13 for Arizona from the three-point line. Have done an outstanding job of just chasing them off that three-point line, like that possession there.
Solomon Hill open for three. Well,
I spoke too soon. Bad rotation on the part of Lang and Julian Washburn.
6 points now for Solomon Hill. This is a guy who has improved his three-point shooting immensely. Made 4 three-point shots his entire freshman year. He had 4 in the first game.
Just worked on his overall skill package to develop himself into more of a perimeter player. And to Sean Miller, his coach's credit, going to allow him to play a lot of the small forward position this season. Once again, there's Jacques. Gives a little bit of a flop move to convince the officials there was enough contact to call a foul. Puts Grant Jarrett on the bench.
Streeter tries to turn the corner.
Big guy's got to be aware of that. He's got to give a little bit more on that hedge and not allow himself to become such an easy, stationary target.
The Washburn brothers having difficulty staying on their feet. Julian Washburn, the baseline jumper, and the rebound by Brendan Ashley. Ashley kick out. Parham corner three. No good. Hill the rebound and the dunk.
You've got to stop the point of attack penetration if you're UTEP. Too many draw and kick jumpers. That time Parham just missed a wide open three. And did a nice job Solomon Hill chasing down the loose rebound.
10 offensive rebounds for the Wildcats. Ragland, the pull-up jumper, got fouled by Kevin Parham. Ragland 3 for 4 at the free throw line on the night. 6 points.
Here's solo Solomon Hill, Fairfax High School, played for Harvey Katani, longtime coach at Fairfax, and Solomon Hill has done a great job just getting his body tuned up and toned down and ready for the rigors of the small forward spot. Worked out with Charlie Torres, who was Derek Williams' personal workout in Orange County, California, extensively this summer, and you can see the results.
Solomon Hill, part of the same recruiting class as Derek Williams here in Arizona, as Parham draws the foul.
Tim Floyd almost took the job here at Arizona in 09 when Lou Wilson retired, and didn't work out for him. Went back to SCSC, got in a bunch of trouble with the O.J. Mayo situation, and so Solomon Hill, Momo Jones, and Derek Williams all decommitted from USC and wound up joining Sean Miller down here in the desert, and the rest, they say, is history. There's 3 tremendous players, even though Momo Jones no longer here. He transferred to Iona to be closer to home in New York City.
Those guys made it to an Elite 8 a couple years ago.
And a Jamel Horn three-point shot away from getting into the Final Four as they lost to Connecticut by 2.
Washburn kicks it back out. Lang is playing with those 4 fouls. Streeter, bounce pass, but they're on the baseline. Well, it's Chris Washburn out of bounds, so a turnover UTEP. It's funny you mentioned that UConn team. That was when Kemba Walker had his run for the Huskies.
Yeah, and they won about 7, 8, 9 games in 9 days or something. And one of the most incredible runs for a basketball team in the history of college sports.
Solomon Hill now has 10 points. They won 5 games in 5 days in the Big East tournament. Then they won the 6 games in the NCAA tournament to win the national championship.
Kevin Ollie doing a nice job as the replacement for Jim Calhoun.
Troll with the steal.
Gotta give my fellow Crenshaw Cougar some props. You know that. Shaw Dog for life.
Jordan Mays will pull it back out.
2 LA guys going at it. Jordan Mays out of Westchester High School playing for Ed Azam, going against Jackie Streeter.
Solomon Hill kicks out for Scholl. The baseline jumper is good. Angelo Scholl starts hitting those type of jumpers. It could be a long night for the opposition.
Yeah, but I watched him shoot that shot pre-game warm-ups. Now, it's pre-game warm-up. It's a big difference, but I told him, you need to save some for the game. He wasn't missing from 15 feet. He's developed a really nice touch, really nice soft touch from that mid-range area.
17-point lead, biggest of the game. Chris Washburn gets fouled by Scholl, shooting team 7th. So UTEP shooting 1-on-1.
But what a luxury for Sean Miller, the Arizona coach, to have this kind of quality depth on his roster. I mean, he's just shuffling guys in and out. Here comes Nick Johnson in for Solomon Hill. You put Kevin Parham at the 3 spot.
I thought it was very interesting even yesterday in practice watching these guys. He said, who needs a break? And there are a couple guys who raised their hands. You never would have seen that best.
Guys want to stay on the floor and get their minutes, but he has made it clear to them that he wants them to give every ounce of effort and energy that they have, and don't worry about being taken out. You've got the able replacements to come in. Offensive foul, good call.
Offensive foul against Parham.
Pushed off with that left arm, trying to clear some space on that drive to the basket.
And that's the 3rd foul against Parham, the team's 8th.
Man, he's got to be thirsty now. I mean, he has just done absolutely nothing offensively. 17 points in his first game, a huge game last season.
Ragland, contested jumper, chases down his own miss. Bohannon, the team's leading scorer last year at 13.4, leading rebounder at 7.3. With the ball now against Troll. Coming up on 12 minutes to go here in the second half. Streeter again trying to draw that foul on the hedge. Shot clock at 10. Streeter draws the foul, gets it blocked by Scholl. But the foul will go against Jordan Mays. An 11-3.
Nick Johnson poised to have a solid year after a very, very good freshman campaign. And talking to their assistant coach, Emmanuel Book Richardson, he said a lot of pressure, probably too much pressure put on Nick Johnson to try and make the big plays for this team last season as just a freshman. And there's Emmanuel Book Richardson, head coach of the legendary New York Gauchos for a number of years, and been with Sean Miller for the past 7 years between Xavier and here in Tucson.
14-point lead. Lions back in, running the point. Johnson kick out. Parham baseline pulls up, and he gets fouled. That foul will go against Chris Washburn.
Good call by Joe C. Big East, Big 12. But came out here as a favor to Eddie Rush to work some Pac-12 games this season. Eddie Rush, the supervisor of Pac-12 officials, another longtime NBA guy. A lot of NBA flavor in the officiating crews, and I like that.
Joe DeRosa came over before and said, are we getting killed on Twitter? I'm like, oh, they're just hammering you.
I would say nary a tweet. Nary a tweet on Twitter, because they've done an outstanding job, these 3 veteran officials.
7 points in the ball game now for Parham. Bohannon.
That's good defense. Nice double inside. Oh!
There was a foul on the body. Washburn. And that is the third foul against Ashley. Team's 10, so double bonus now for UTEP. Chris Washburn makes the first. He's got 8 points. Substitution, Solomon Hill comes back in the game with a Band-Aid now over his left eye. Parham will go to the bench.
A question for Tim Floyd right here. Do you try and gimmick things up defensively? Maybe trap that first pass again. Maybe go into a zone, do something different. Going to extend the pressure. There's a trap. There's a trap in the backcourt. A little full court pressure. Just to throw off Arizona, just to disrupt the flow just a bit for the Wildcats. If we're going to get back in this game, this is the time to do it before he gets away from him.
Lyons comes off the screen, tries for the bounce pass, and Scholl can't handle it.
Little pocket pass off the curl, and you can tell Angelo Cho, he's probably thinking we haven't had guards that can make that pass that effectively, so he wasn't prepared for it.
UTEP has gone nearly 6 minutes without a field goal. It's not the kind of drought you want when you're trailing 52-38.
Well, great on-ball defense, weak side defense, pressuring up Arizona, doing a nice job. Very few open looks. When Bohannon does catch it in the post, he's doubled aggressively.
Streeter, kick out to the corner. Cooper's three is good.
Yeah, that's what they're going to need. They're going to need some reliable spot-up jump shooting because Arizona's pinching their defenders in the paint so aggressively.
Joel sets the screen.
But for UTEP at the point of attack, you've got to thwart the penetration of Arizona. That's what's led to a lot of the open three-point shots.
Washburn got a hand on it. It's out of bounds off of Solomon Hill. And I thought that was actually off of Chris Washburn. Sean Miller thought the same thing, as did Hill.
James Breeding not offering any assistance to Joe DeRosa.
They just showed the replay here in the arena, and the fans do not like the call. An 8-2 run right now for UTEP. Ragland for three, it's short. And the rebound by Grant Jarrett.
And they need to look more for C.J. Cooper. That's a nice take.
Oh, pretty take by Mark Lyons. When you need a basket, he brings one.
Yeah, pretty take, outstanding finish. Changed it to the left hand, avoided the offensive foul with the great body control. And there's the
touch alongside Marcus Johnson here in Arizona at the McHale Center. Bohannon's been nearly silent in this game.
I like this lineup offensively for UTEP.
All the way to the hoop, there is Chris Washburn.
We talked about him, 4 dunks in the second half against Oral Roberts. But you cannot allow a lefty to get to that strong left hand as easily as Arizona did on that play, but a good move by the freshman.
11 points for the freshman. The three is no good. Kept alive. There's Jarrett underneath. And he gets fouled. He'll head to the free throw line.
That's where the incredible size of the Arizona so easily. That's what happens. You get dunked on. Grant Jarrett's got to do a better job recognize the scouting report.
That last foul comes back in.
And Malcolm Moore plays some pretty solid interior defense. Now he's going to have to do a good job boxing out to prevent offensive rebounds, but Bohannon's giving you nothing anyway at this stage. So this energy demands a lot of intensity on the floor, and if you don't play defense, you can't play for Tim Floyd, but gives you the freedom offensively to express yourself like these young fellas like to do. Coach, I got to express myself at the offensive end.
Cooper, the contested three.
Express yourself. C.J. Cooper, now he is a guy against Southern Miss. Last season, he pretty much single-handedly won that basketball game in the second half, knocking down big jumpers like that.
Johnson finds Jarrett. Tarczewski posting up. Got fronted. Turnover. Back the other way is Cooper. Nearly blocked. We're going to have a foul. It could have almost potentially been goaltending.
It was goaltending. Tried by Julian Washburn.
Solomon Hill committed a foul. Washburn at the free throw line with 8 points. Still with 8 points. You said it at the Open that his coach, Tim Floyd, has compared him to DeMar DeRozan. 1 for 2 at the line. It's a 55-47 ball game after a 14-5 run here by UTEP.
There's that increased pressure, and there's a man you want to have the ball in his hands to break the pressure. Wow. Interesting offensive alignment potentially for UTEP. You've got Cedric Lang and Malcolm Moore on the floor at the same time. Two guys who are not noted for their offensive prowess.
Here at the McHale Center in Tucson, Arizona, Justin Kutcher alongside Marcus Johnson. Number 12 ranked Arizona leading UTEP 56-47, now 57-47. As Mark Lyons has 17 points, which matches his output in the first game against Charleston Southern.
And C.J. Cooper, here's a guy, you got to find a way to find him an open look off of penetration. He's not that adept at creating his own shot.
Washburn, nice. The pull-up jumper.
That's nice. You know, I love his elevation on his jump shot, and then the extension of the basketball over his head makes it almost impossible to block. And there you saw some of that DeMar DeRozan comparison.
Nick Johnson's been quiet in this game. Solomon Hill looking for some space.
That's good defense. I'd say Moore's done a great job. Just acted defensively. That time Washburn stood up. Solomon Hill went for the up and under. Just no place to go.
Shot clock at 7. Ashley, the baseline jumper is long. Rebound for Cooper.
Outstanding defensive possession by UTEP once again.
Cooper pulls it back out. As you mentioned, UTEP basically playing with 3 offensive players. Shot clock at 9.
Yeah, it puts a lot of pressure on those 3 because you don't have to respect Moore. As Moore goes for posted up, Ashley commits the foul. Bench success with 11 points, but also UTEP doing a great job getting to the free throw line. 13 of 16 from the free throw line in the second half of this game. So that's been a big key too. Aggressively going at it on the inside.
Julian Washburn is now guarding Mark Lyons. Some more length against Lyons. Johnson doesn't use the screen. Goes all the way to the hoop. Pretty move by the sophomore. 7 points now for Nick Johnson.
Usually UTEP better on the weak side defensively. They work on that 3-man wall away from the basketball, which usually makes it awful tough to get inside. Nick Johnson found a way.
Washburn picks up his dribble. Cooper back to Chris Washburn. Spin move. Loses it. Turnover, UTEP.
Talk about next time, you've almost got to put that left foot on the end line there to prevent that penetration by Nick Johnson.
You wonder maybe playing with those 4 fouls that crept into his mind.
Without question.
Hill doesn't use the screen, attacks the hoop. There's Tarzewski with a putback.
There's Cedric Lang sliding over for the help, but then turning his shoulder because, again, he didn't want to pick up that 5th foul, so he avoids the contact. No one sags down the block out. Caleb Tarzewski on the finish.
Ragland for 3. They need it. He can't hit it. Solomon Hill chases down the rebound. He'll wait for his teammates to come on down. Ashley in the paint, has it poked away. Shot clock at 10. Solomon Hill backing down, pulls up. Off the back of the rim, there's Ashley with the rebound and the putback.
The length really presenting problems inside for UTEP. And Solomon Hill was a guy you want the ball in his hands with the shot clock winding down. He got off a good shot, but then Ashley just climbed over the smaller Miners for the offensive rebound.
13 offensive rebounds for Arizona. Julian Washburn lost it. Here comes Hill. The skip pass broken up. Chris Washburn trying to find his brother Julian. And Julian says, Chris.
Games used to be fierce.
Good closeout by Perrin for the block.
That's how you close out a three-point shooter without fouling.
Solomon Hill finds Ashley diving to the hoop. He gets fouled, and that's going to be number 5 against Cedric by 14. Brandon Ashley at the free throw line. Both teams in a double bonus as Ashley gets the friendly roll. He's got 4 points now in this ball game. Angelo Chol checks back in, replacing Caleb Tarczewski. Points now for the freshman out of Oakland, California. Julian Washburn against Hill. Washburn will jump hook. And the loose ball. A foul will be called against Bohannon, and that will be his 5th foul. How about the line for John Bohannon in this game? 0 points, 0 for...
To get a good open look at the basket because of the swarming defense of the Wildcats.
Jordan Mays couldn't hit the first.
But I tell you, it's pretty obvious. I mean, John Bohannon, their leading scorer from last year, 13 points. But this team will have to rely on Julian and Chris Washburn for their success in Conference USA this season. Two very talented brothers, a freshman and sophomore, tremendous futures ahead of them.
9-0 run here for the Wildcats. A high-low game. Chris Washburn trying to save it, turns it over. Here comes Mays. Coming up on 3 minutes to go. 17-point lead for Arizona. At this point, Arizona can take time off the clock. Shorten this game.
Well, that's exactly what they're doing. Just running their offense. And
shot clock down to 5. Ashley diving to the hoop. Somehow able to put it up and in.
Brandon Ashley, Oakland, California AAU team. The Oakland Soldiers prepped at Finley Prep, and you saw the body control, lost control of the basketball, able to get it back, find the backboard. Beautiful move by the 6'10 freshman.
Hooper vents in for the first time and airball in his first attempt. Perrin.
This is a good-looking Arizona team. Obviously ranked number 12, but I saw the Bruins play Indiana State last Friday. They're still a team with all their talented freshmen, Signs, Shabazz Muhammad, but they're still trying to figure things out, find their way. You know, the addition of a Mark Lyons, the return of a Solomon Hill really makes a huge impact when you have this much youth on the floor.
Joel off the pass for Mays.
This is a squad that has hit the ground running, this Arizona team. It's not going to take much of an adjustment for them to be playing great basketball by the time the conference season opens up.
Julian Washburn, the kick out for Streeter. A 13-0 run by Arizona. And that is finally snapped by Jacques Streeter. 10 points in the ball game for Streeter, the transfer out of Cal State Fullerton. A 19-point lead for Arizona. You talk about how well they're playing right now. It's only going to get scarier for opponents because this team will get better as these young kids get older and they figure out how to play together and maybe get Caleb Tarczewski more involved as a 7-footer. Mays leaves it off for Ashley for the dunk.
And the athleticism at the rim. You got the guards between Lyons and Mays that can penetrate and get in there and create some issues. Now when they throw that little drop-off pass to the bigs. They've got some tremendous finishers at the rim between Jared and Ashby and Tarzuski. Chol.
The fans on their feet serenading UTEP. And now Arizona can just run this clock out.
And I have seen nary a hint of selfishness. They're doing a great job sharing the basketball, moving the basketball, making the extra pass. Nice job, Sean Miller and his staff with their offensive philosophy and the way this team has embraced it.
The Arizona Wildcats will move to 2-0 on the season. UTEP will fall to 1-1. Sean Miller handshakes with the UTEP coach.